Hello YouTube, it's Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly video, and as usual I got some stuff to show you. If you followed my channel this week, you know that I got some pretty stellar mail. Thank you again to Tor, Eric Baki, and Andrew Jaremko, who both sent me absolutely out of this world ridiculous boxes. So if you have not watched those videos, go ahead and check out those videos, because just insane amount of generosity out of both of those very cool dudes. All right, so anyway, and then keeping that kind of trend going, I got two more boxes in the mail, which I did already open and check out. So I did already open them. I didn't really look in detail at one of them. One of them is from Jerome Pierce, who is a gentleman on Facebook who's in my Championdjk's used little car lot on Facebook. Buys some stuff for me occasionally on that. And then the other one is Michael Dylan Turret, who has already sent me previously another Ultra Red, which I've shown in a different weekly video. And again, he scored another Ultra Red and was super generous and ended up giving it to me. And it's one I've got it loose, but it's a pretty cool variation of it. So it's actually one that I'm pretty stoked to have carded. So we're going to look at that stuff in a second. We're also going to, just real quick, there's a couple of things that came out of the Tor box that we're going to take a look at in more detail in the second segment of this. And so if you haven't watched that video, I recommend you watch it before watching this one. Otherwise, this will be somewhat of a spoiler, but that's okay. All right, so this Spark model, we're going to take a look at that. It's Porsche GT3 RS. So we're going to take a peek at this. I'm going to pull this out of the package. This is still sealed, so we're going to pull this out of the package and take a peek at it. Stoked about that. And then this Infiniti Q60, which is just this crazy boxed, very, very detailed die-cast item. I am not 100%, like the box is magnetic. It's crazy. I'm not even sure where exactly this came from. It says this product is an accurate scale model and not a toy. So don't play with it. We're going to go ahead and open it up, of course. This Infiniti Motor Company, I guess, is what it is. And so it must be, the only guess I can have is that it's from a dealership. So we're going to open that up and actually pull that off of the base and take a look. We're also going to pull both of these off the base and take a look. This is an Ace model Mercedes-Benz. Okay, we're going to pull this one off the base and take a peek at this. And then we're going to also pull this one off the base and take a peek at this one. This is a BMW M6 GT3 Nürburgring 24-hour 2017 model from Tarmac Works. So four super premium models that we were definitely going to kind of get more in depth in. I didn't really get to look at them too much during the unboxing just because I didn't unscrew anything from the base, but I will take those cars off of the base. We'll kind of spin them around, take a look at them in more detail in the second segment of this video. All right, so now for the Michael Dylan Turret box, that is this guy right here. Well, what's rare about this? Well, this, I'm not sure if it's exactly rare, but it is a variation, and I know from experience of looking for these things, it is harder to find. I don't know how well you can see in there, but this is the red seat variation of this Ultra Red. The majority of these were found with just a standard black interior. This one's got the actual two-tone interior with the red or orangish red seats in it. I'm not going to, of course, open this up in the second segment. Oh, by the way, he did find it at Ollie's, so got it for $3.99 score. I'm not going to open this up in the second segment because I already do have one of these loose. The reason why I wanted one carded, now the one I got that is loose was originally carded. I opened it up so I know it's legit, but these things, and not that anybody would do it, but these would be easy to fake loose because you just take the orange car from the regular series, and these are screwed together, so you could easily take the interior out, put it in an Ultra Red, and, you know, fake this variation. It is fakeable. I know mine's not fake because I pulled it off out of a card, or unless someone managed to figure out a way to reseal these things. But this one legit was found in a store for sure. I'm going to leave it carded as just a nice example of this variation. So I really do appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. So that goes into the auto report. He also sent me a couple of weird little extras here, which are very actually interesting. There's this one here, Rastar Lamborghini. That's pretty cool. Is that a Gallardo, right? Yeah. So we'll take a look at this, of course, close up in the second segment, but we're going to peek at these things real quick. He sent me some weird vintage diecast. So one of them is a Tameka Porsche 911. So we'll take a peek at that. This one has a plastic base. It is made in Japan, so it is an older one. It's got opening doors and stuff, but we'll look at it more in detail coming up here. This thing's really cool. This is a Husky Ferrari Berlinetta 250 GT. It's kind of a cool car. It's a little larger than 1/64 scale. It's like a road-going version of the race car. And he sent me some information on these real cars too, which is really cool. I don't recall it all. I don't remember all what he sent, but just a super cool dude, super knowledgeable, and he's got that group on Facebook, Diecast Classicists, where they show a lot of interesting models such as this stuff here. This is Uno Ferrari. It's made in Hong Kong, and this is just a weird one too. This is a Ferrari. We'll look at this more in detail, of course. It's got a little dude in it, a little racer dude. So we'll check that out. Very, very cool. And then a red line. This is in pretty rough shape paint-wise, but it is a great restoration candidate. It's a Ferrari 512S, and so it's got an opening back and it's got an opening canopy here. The thing that really makes this worthy of restoring, I think, and I actually might do this. I want to get back into customizing, guys. I really do. I need an airbrush to do it. At least I want to do it airbrush. I don't want to go back to rattle cans like I used to do, even though you can get great results with rattle cans. I just think an airbrush would be way more fun. And this one would be a great restoration candidate because you wouldn't have to really buy any parts for it. The windshield is really, really clean, and the interior is like dirty, but it's not like damaged, so it would clean up really nicely. Anyway, if you do redline restorations, check out Diecast Show Customs, and also check out Bare Metal Hot Wheels or Bare Metal HW. They do really great jobs and come with really good ideas, and I watch their videos, and it just makes me want to work on these cars and get back into customizing. So it would be really cool to do a restoration project on this one. I think I would. I don't know if I'd leave it the color green or not, but I'd definitely paint it a Spectra Flame color. All right, so that's the stuff from Michael. Thank you very much. And then the stuff from Jerome Pierce. We've got some more interesting, more oddball stuff that he thought he would send me because he thought it was interesting, and he's right. This is made in China, weird Pontiac Firebird. It's like a 1978 or 1979, 1980 Firebird. So that's cool. I'm just looking at them briefly because I'm going to roll them across the camera in the second segment of the video. Another bird. This one I think I have an example of. Made in China again. This one's got opening doors. Blackbird. That's pretty cool. You sent me this interesting majorette ambulance piece. Don't know where this one's from, but it's made in France. Again, look at it close up. I think this was like a Yatming or something. Made in China again. I think this is a Ford van. Is what it's supposed to be. Pretty cool. And some other weird little. This is a Play Art. Little Cabover Truck. Again, we'll roll that by the camera. Second half of the vid. And this is cool. This is a Hot Wheels 100%, I think. believe it is. It's Mercury, I believe. Or Buick, 50 Buick. Not a Mercury. But this is I think this is a Hot Wheels 100% line. Pretty cool. Again, we'll look at it closer in a little bit. Let's see here. And this is cool. A GTO Racing Champions. This thing is really dirty, and it's missing the side mirror. This would definitely be a cool customization project. It would be kind of cool to customize one of these. But pretty cool nonetheless. So he just sent me this, he's actually from Wisconsin, so I believe, right? Yeah. Street Scorcher. Ultra Hots. It's an oldie. And 2 more cars here. And these ones I haven't even looked at, these 2. So we'll see what they are. Oh, 2 Firebirds. Or GTO. I think I do have this one mint. Definitely in played with condition. And then this one I do have mint, I believe, as well. This Firebird. So that's going to be it for this episode. So again, we're going to take a look at a couple things from the tour box. 4 items in particular. We'll roll all this other stuff here by the camera in the second segment. So stay tuned. All in all, just an amazing week. Just blown away by the generosity, by the people that I've been fortunate enough to meet and interact with in this hobby. It's just crazy. It just is. Very humbled by it. I think, it's just, I don't know. It's really sweet. So, and thank you guys very much for supporting the channel and watching it. So stay tuned, and we're going to check out this stuff. Okay, so let's start with this cool old red line Hot Wheels. See, there's a windshield. Very, very clean. So you can see it opens there, and it opens there. So I'm sure there's pitting and stuff and all that in this, but I think this is a great car. I think for me doing a first shot, maybe at doing a restoration project on a red line. I know I say that, and I'll probably get to it at some point. It'll probably be a long time actually before I actually get to this, but this is definitely on the docket. I know some will probably say I should just leave it as is, but I think it would be really cool to restore this car to its former glory. And to be honest, I didn't even know this casting really existed. That's how not well versed in red lines I am. So, really cool. So there's that. And then next, let's take a look at this guy. This is that Husky. Pretty neat. Looks almost like a Matchbox of the era. There's the base. I don't see any sort of copyright date on this thing. I have no idea exactly when it came out. But it's pretty neat. It's a little beat up, but not in terrible condition. It's got a small little crack across the back glass there. But all in all, it's got some character. It's a cool example of this car. I think that's pretty awesome, in my opinion. So, that is really cool. This is really cool, too. This thing. Just an interesting Ferrari. And there's the little gentleman in there. Probably an Italian gentleman. This one had a red stripe on it and a 2 for a sticker. The red stripe is actually painted. The wheels are just kind of a weird look. They're plastic. Other than that, it's metal on metal. Hong Kong. Uno Ferrari. That is a very cool little old example of this. I love the oddball stuff like this. The older diecast that you don't see very often. And this definitely qualifies. So, very, very cool. And then this guy here, Lambo Guard. This is nice. I don't know. I think these came out in like dollar stores, I want to say. I could be completely wrong. They don't have interiors, but really that's no big deal. Except for that you can't see the motor back here where you normally would. But they do have headlights and taillights, at least some detail there. And some fairly detailed wheels for little plastic wheels, and they're screwed together. I don't know. I think they're pretty nice. I think I might, now that I think about this, I think I have an example, not of this casting, of a different casting that I think was released in this same Lamborghini series. I believe they were found in dollar stores. I think for me it would have been Dollar Tree. Could be wrong, but I think that's what this was. So, pretty cool Lambo. I collect Lambo diecast in 1/64 scale, so this definitely fits the bill for me. Next, let's take a look at some of the oddball stuff we got from Jerome. Majorette. Old school majorettes are really cool, and they're actually very, at least in my experience, are very hard to find, and especially very hard to find in any sort of good condition. This one's pretty rough, but it does look really cool. All the parts are there. It's got an opening back door. It's an ambulance. There is a patient in the ambulance. I don't know if you can see that. It's going to be hard to take a look at, but there is a patient in there. He is strapped in. So, ready to go. No one's driving, though. I don't know where the paramedics are. But this is pretty neat. It is metal on metal. These have suspension. They're very cool diecast. The older majorette stuff, the made in France stuff, is just, I think, pretty neat. So, and I don't know, does it tell you what the real car, and it just says ambulance. I'm not sure if this was modeled after a real truck or not. It looks like a Jeep, though, from the front of it. Almost like a Jeep Wagoneer. Could be completely wrong, but that's what it kind of looks like to me. So, kind of an interesting little ambulance. Then we got, I forgot one from Mike. Here's this here. Here's a Porsche. Tameka, 161 scale, F3. The F denotes foreign, which means it's foreign to Japan. Just means it's not a Japanese car, basically. Porsche 911S, made in Japan. These are really cool. I would love to find one of these in mint condition. I've got a couple examples of this car in my collection. All of them are in about this same shape, which isn't terrible, but it would be really nice to find a real minty one. Definitely cool, though. Definitely cool indeed. So that's a cool old Tameka. Old Tameka. And then, look at this guy, Blackbird Firebird. Made in China. Opening doors. Pretty dirty in there. Dirty bird. It's cool though. It's like a 70. What is it? 77. That's that one, and then this guy here, New York City. That's pretty cool too. Another made in China deal. I think this one, well, these are made by the same company, whoever it is. But they're kind of cool. They got like suspension. They're plastic base. Look at the bounce. Definite play value in these cars, and you can tell they got played with quite a bit. This little weird guy, Play Art. Oh, Cabover Truck. Playout's another weird one. You don't see too many of. I have maybe a couple. They're normally really heavy. They're all metal. This one does have like a suspension to it as well. So suspension was a real thing back in the day. I mean, Hot Wheels basically had suspension. Matchbox, a bunch of Matchbox cars had suspension. It was really normal for diecast cars in 1/64 scale to kind of have some sort of spring. And mostly it's because the people really wanted to race these things and make them fast, because this thing also has these wheels that have the little lip on the inside. So less surface area on the track made these things roll fast. And this thing still, to this day, I mean, would cruise downhill. Just this little truck. So that's pretty cool. And then this guy here, this is a van. This one probably had some spring in it originally, but it doesn't really have any more. I believe this is mounted after a Ford van. This is made in China. Again, here's the little ring around the wheels that it would ride on. Not a lot of weight to this one, though, because of the plastic base. It's in somewhat rough shape, but it's got cool colors, fluorescent yellow to green. So I'm not sure when that came out. Pretty cool, though. And then, let's see here, the GTO. This one needs a little love. Side mirrors broken off. These things came with one mirror attached, these Racing Champions. I do have, I think, one example of one of these in really good shape. It's orange. The older Racing Champion stuff was just very hit or miss. This one, they all had like these chrome metal bases. Some of them had, really suffered from zinc pest, and they crumbled when you pushed on them. This one's doesn't have that problem. It's just definitely been played with and stuff, and it's pretty dirty, but it's still really cool. I love the body style of this. I love the front end of these GTOs. I think they look awesome. And I just featured basically one like this in a 10-car Tuesday that was a Hot Wheels. Oh, and the hood opens on this one too. And the motor is fairly detailed over there. So there's that. And then we got this guy, the Mercury. This is a Hot Wheels 100%. 100% of Hot Wheels, and from the 100% Hot Wheels line. This one got some motor detail. Metal base, metal body, rubber tires with tread. I suppose they're rubber tires. You could call them Rail Riders because they're Hot Wheels. Surfboard in the back. Pretty sweet ride. So that is pretty neat. I don't have any other example of this casting for Hot Wheels 100%. I've got a few Hot Wheels 100% models, and this is not one of them. So it's cool to add this to the Hot Wheels 100% arsenal. All right, so we are done with that stuff. We are going to go ahead and take a look now at some very premium die-cast stuff. I'm almost nervous to take off the base or the packaging, but we are going to do it because it's what we do. So the first one, we're going to take a look at this Tarmac Works BMW M6 GT3 Nürburgring 24-hour 2017. So Tarmac Works has really gotten into the racing models. They're very close to Inno 64 style. The thing that's cool about Tarmac Works is it seems like they gravitate a lot more towards Euro models more so than Inno does, and that's just kind of more up my alley. Inno's cool too, but they do a lot of Hondas and stuff like that, and that's cool. I know it's popular and all that good stuff. I'm just not as I guess into that stuff as some other people may be, and it's cool. You collect what you like, but this Beamer is pretty awesome. Look at this thing. Got to be very careful with it, no doubt. Look at Gran Turismo, because these little antennas, and I'm not even going to touch them, little antennas on the top. It's got 3 of them on there. Just look to be crazy fragile. And we got lens detail in the back, though. We got lens detail in the front. And I like racing livery cars. I think they are very cool. A lot of them are very cool. I tend to gravitate, however, towards more vintage style liveries when it comes to racing liveries. But the new stuff is pretty cool too. And this thing is just super highly detailed and is just very, very cool. The interior is like super detailed as well. It's got a white roll cage in it. It's got like black seats in there. There is a 5-point harness. The one seat that's in the car, there is no seat. There is no passenger seat, of course. And this thing is just really cool. Falcon tires. The detail is almost endless on this. There's just so much going on with it. And that's the other thing that's kind of cool about these racing livery cars is there's just so much detail in these vehicles. The Falcon livery looks awesome. And just a really cool piece to have. It's honestly not a piece I would think about trying to pick up on my own. I'm so glad I have it though now, because it just looks really, really cool. And it's going to go really cool next to the Falcon livery Supra that I have from Tarmac Works. So Tarmac Works is definitely an interesting company. They're doing some pretty cool stuff. They've got kind of their own niche going on. I like that they come with these little limited edition cards. They're packaged very well and really cool. So this is going to go into a carny case. I'm not going to put it back on. Be very, very careful with it. And we'll move it. All right. The next thing we're going to look at is this Porsche GT3 RS Sparky model. I should have probably taken this cellophane wrap off of this car beforehand, but I do have a pretty dull razor blade handy. Let me just switch out that blade. So we're going to free the piece on this one. I do have one casting from Spark model in my collection, from Sparky. Kind of a weird diecast brand. They don't make a ton in 1/64 scale. I think they definitely more specialize in larger scale items, 1/43 and the like. I believe they're out of Germany, I want to say. It's made in China, I know that. Maybe they're not a German-based company. For some reason I thought they were. Well, it doesn't matter. Someone's going to tell me what's what in the comments down below. So here it is on the base. These are going to have one. Oh, these aren't even screwed down. So this is really cool. So this is a little turn key little thing in the base, and this car is locked in by that. So to undo it, you actually turn it clockwise to undo it instead of anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. And there it is. It's a really cool color. It's like a midnight blue, I would say. It's almost purple. Very close to purple in color, but it's really more of a midnight blue. And this thing is just awesome. Okay, so it really doesn't roll very well. And it might roll if I kind of fidget with it a little bit. Tires aren't quite jammed up. Oops. Dropped it there. It is riveted. It's plastic base, riveted. There's a little keyhole there. It's got metal body. It's got plastic spoiler there, plastic mirrors, which we dare not touch with too much force. Of course, it's got lens detail for the headlights, and it's got painted detail for the rear, but it's just a really awesome look for this car. So, of course, this version of the GT3 RS is coming out in a super treasure hunt, or is out already as a super treasure hunt for Hot Wheels, and it's one I definitely want, and it's purple. So it's not quite this color, but it is pretty close. And now that I'm looking close, I think this thing is purple. It's really hard to tell, though. It's either very deep blue or purple. It's got a little flaw in the clear coat right here, not a big deal. And then it's got the little teeny tiny Porsche logo. Very cool. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is German. I mean, I know Porsche is German, right? But pretty sure Sparky model is German based. So really cool. This thing is left-hand drive though, which is kind of interesting. So made for the U.S. market, North American market. All right, so there's that. Set that over there very daintily. The next thing we'll look at is this. This thing is packaged like a fine cologne. That nice little satisfying click of the magnet there. Let's hear it one more time. Pretty cool. All right, so this one we're going to go ahead and pull out of the case. This is the Affinity Infiniti Q60. All right. Again, acrylic case. This one should be interesting. This has got plastic tires or plastic wheels, so it's got one screw in the base. which I'm going to have difficulty removing. I'm using a flathead, by the way, to remove a Phillips screw, which is like a big no-no, right? But, oh my gosh. This thing is really on there, guys. I actually might have to pause this. Okay, and voila, it is out of the package. Embarrassingly enough, I had to resort to power tools to get this thing out. I did get it out, though. The screw is pretty stripped, but kind of filed a little flathead area in there. Ended up using a drill. Anyway, it's out of the package now, and that's all that really matters, because we are going to take a look at it. And here it is. Look how cool this is. Look how detailed it is. It's a beautiful red color. Like I said, the wheels are plastic. Oh, that's right. It's a pouty. Okay. I think Heavy Metal 164 may have originally shown this on his channel. This actually may have originally come from him. I'm not sure. But I remember him, I think, showing this pouty diecast. Definitely interesting. There's not too many of these, I don't think, out there. I don't know if they just made these for dealerships or what. But really nice looking. Look at that. Front end is just super detailed. We got lens detail up front there. We've got details in the back. It does have plastic tires, which that might be a turnoff for some of you. But, I mean, look how detailed they are. This thing looks very much like the real deal car. So, complete with the fact that, like, the windows are all clear until you get to, like, the sunroof, and it's, like, tinted. So that's definitely an interesting detail I don't think I've ever seen in 1/64 scale diecast. But this thing is super cool, not going back on the base, going into my carny case. And such an awesome car. So that is fantastic. Struggled a little bit to get it out of the package, but that's okay. The packaging's still cool. Definitely, I'll find a different screw if I ever do put it back in. We'll save this one just in case, but that's not going back in that car. All right, so very, very awesome. Very carefully going to put it somewhere else here real quick. And then we're going to take a look at the last model of the episode, which is this Mercedes-Benz SClass. This is my Ace model. And it looks extremely detailed. And there is definitely one thing I'm super nervous about, which is that hood emblem right there. That looks like it would be something that would be very easy to knock off. So we're going to try to be real careful. I'm going to hold it like this. It's got one screw in the bottom. And this one's coming out nice and easy. All right. So Ace model. This is the first this diecast manufacturer that I have. I don't know much about them. After this, I'll probably look them up. This one, I almost just knocked that freaking emblem off the front. So there it is. Look at that. You can kind of see a little glob of glue almost where they had to glue it in. That's part of the reason why I don't really like the small parts, but from afar, that looks pretty awesome. It's not quite centered. But man, you'd have to be super careful handling this thing. Wait a minute, does this also have that detail that I was talking about in the other one? It does look like it. So it's got tinted sunroof. It looks like there's a little paint flaw right here. No biggie. Rubber tires, of course, lens detail all the way around. Very, very cool. Oh, that hood emblem just makes me so nervous. So very nervous. It almost looks like it originally was up further, but I don't know. Yeah, either way, I'm not messing with it. Just a cool, interesting piece. So this thing is going to just sit in a carny case too as well on display. And I just got to remember every time you pick it up to be very, very careful with. There's a couple of pieces I have in my collection that are like that, where it's just like you could totally accidentally, if you weren't thinking, pick this thing up and that hood emblem's just disappeared and gone. See, some Inno 64 is definitely like that, like those little antennas we just saw on that other piece. That stuff just makes me a little nervous. And that's why I avoid getting stuff that's that crazy detailed sometimes. But it is so cool. And so well done. All right, so that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. Thanks again for just an amazing week from Michael, from Jerome, from Tor, from Andrew, and from all you guys for watching the channel. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, thank you very much for joining in. If you've been here for a long time, thank you so much for supporting me. And I appreciate it. So have a great day.